Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Today is a beautiful Wednesday, and honestly, I am running on fumes and way too much caffeine. But we have to talk about what is happening in Port Charles because my brain is officially melting. Let's just dive right into it. And let me tell you, Wednesday, May 27 is going to be one of those episodes that just leaves you staring at the screen, wondering what the writers are actually drinking because it is chaotic, it is messy, and I am here for it, but I am also so tired. So let's talk about the preview for tomorrow because there is so much to unpack and I feel like I'm losing my mind trying to keep track of who is blackmailing who and who's running away with whose kid. Let's start with Alexis and Ava. So Alexis just walks right up to Ava and drops this bomb. She just straight up informs her, I'm going on a trip, you're coming with me. Like, no hello, no, how are you? Just pack your bags. We are going to Manhattan. And honestly, that is so Alexis. She just bulldozes her way into people's lives when she gets fixated on a mystery. But this isn't just any mystery. They are heading to New York to track down this mysterious Japanese artist named Kyoko. And why do we care about Kyoko? Because of Delilah's strange wrist tattoo. This tattoo thing is quickly turning into a major, massive mystery. And it feels like we are suddenly watching an international conspiracy thriller instead of a daytime soap. But you know what? I kind of love it. Ava is the perfect person for this, obviously, because Ava recognized the symbol on the tattoo. And let's be real, Ava knows her way around the art world's glamorous little maze of galleries and secrets and wealthy eccentrics. She is a former mob boss turned gallery owner. She knows the snobs, she knows the weirdos. But I have to wonder, what is Ethan going to do? Because Ethan is already freaking out that Ava is digging into Delilah's art gallery connections. Ethan and Delilah were partners in crime. If Ava and Alexis go to Manhattan and start turning over rocks, they are going to find some very dangerous snakes. And Ethan knows this. He is terrified that old enemies are going to follow this trail right back to Port Charles. So is Ethan going to try to stop them, or is he going to secretly follow them? I don't know. But I am so stressed about it. Maybe I'm being too dramatic, but you get what I mean. The art world in Port Charles is never just about paintings. It's always about hidden mob money or ancient curses or whatever. And then we have Lucas and Carly. Oh man, Lucas. So the preview shows Lucas and Carly's kitchen. And of course, it's Carly's kitchen. Half the town's major emotional breakdowns happen in Carly's kitchen while she's probably making coffee or pouring a drink. Lucas is just unloading all this heavy, heavy guilt onto his sister. He tells her, Marco did prove himself to me and it cost him his life. And you can just see the pain in his face. Lucas is mourning Marco Rios. Marco was trying to help with the medicine mission, the whole reverse engineering thing that Britt violently rejected. Britt screamed at Lucas, and now Marco is dead. And Lucas feels completely responsible. Carly is obviously listening to him unload this guilt. She's in full protective sister mode. And there's a very real possibility she's going to make a plea strongly suggesting he vacate Windermere immediately, like today, right now. Because let's talk about Windermere for a second. Windermere is a death trap. It is a cursed gothic nightmare castle on Spoon Island, and nobody should live there, ever. Before Sidwell's orbit turns Lucas's life expectancy into a temporary condition, Carly needs to pack his bags herself. People are always getting thrown off parapets or locked in towers or shot in the living room over there. Dalton was literally just killed there by Sidwell, and now Marco is dead. Why does anyone voluntarily sleep in that house? What were they thinking? Who actually believes living at Windermere is going to end well? Nobody. But speaking of Marco's death, we have to talk about Jen Sidwell. Because Sidwell is on the warpath. In the preview, Sidwell tells someone, I have to do whatever it takes to find Marco's killer. And if you speak fluent soap opera villain, which I do at this point, you know, that translated from villain speak. That usually means everybody within a 5-mile radius should start feeling nervous immediately. Sidwell is a psychopath. He is ruthless. He shot Dalton in cold blood and framed the mayor. And Marco was his son. So this isn't just business for Sidwell anymore. This is personal. He wants blood. And there is a really strong chance that Sidwell starts floating theories to Ava that somehow circle back toward young Rocco. Yes, Rocco, because Port Charles does enjoy dragging traumatized teenagers into criminal investigations like it's an extracurricular activity. Think about it. Danny is running around trying to join the mob and fixating on Sidwell. Charlotte is always in the middle of some Cassidy nightmare. Jocelyn is literally locked in a room right now, being held hostage by a fake Nathan West. And now Rocco is on the run with a dying woman. The teens on this show need therapy, not police records. If Sidwell starts thinking Rocco had something to do with Marco's death, or if he just wants to use Rocco as leverage, things are going to get so much worse. And Ava is going to be caught right in the middle because she's dealing with Sidwell's chaos at Windermere. So while all this is happening, what is the local mob boss doing? Sonny's in his office explaining his master plan to Laura. Yes, Laura Collins, the mayor of Port Charles. Sonny tells her all we have to do is get Pascal to turn on Sidwell. Because remember, right before Britt smashed her phone and fled Port Charles with Rocco, she called our favorite racketeer to let him know that Sidwell killed Dalton and Pascal helped him cover it up. Britt just dropped this massive piece of evidence into Sonny's lap and then peeled out of town, which means Sonny now wants Pascal to betray a psychopath. This is his big plan. He wants to flip Pascal, and he's pitching this to Laura, who is desperate to clear her name because Sidwell used Ezra Boyle to frame her for Dalton's murder. So you have the mayor and the mob boss teaming up to blackmail a henchman into turning on an international criminal. It's brilliant, but it's also so ridiculous. Only on General Hospital does the mayor sit down with a guy who runs a crime syndicate to strategize witness tampering. But honestly, Laura needs all the help she can get. She already has Ezra Boyle sobering up on her couch and confessing his sins. Now she has to deal with Sonny's mob logic. But I guess if it works, it works. But will Pascal actually turn? Sidwell is terrifying. Pascal knows that if he crosses Sidwell, he's a dead man. So Sonny and Laura are going to have to offer him something really, really good. Or threaten him with something really, really bad. And let's not forget, half of Port Charles keeps disappearing into tunnels, safe houses, and emotionally catastrophic phone calls. Nobody is safe right now. And speaking of emotionally catastrophic, let's head over to the PCPD. Because Lulu is a wreck. The preview shows Lulu at the police station saying to someone, "This is all my fault." And she is likely talking to Dante. Because it is her fault. I love Lulu. I really do. I've been rooting for her since she came back, but what was she thinking? She got the fake passport. She tried to push Rocco away from Britt, and all it did was push him right into Britt's car. Rocco begged Britt to take him on the run to protect his family, and Britt, who was literally dying of Huntington's disease, agreed. She locked Elizabeth in a closet, smashed the phones, and drove off. So now Lulu is drowning in panic and guilt and emotional wreckage. She is standing there realizing that she handed her teenage son the exact tool he needed to run away, the fake passport. Dante has to be furious. He was just interrogating her, asking her what she was hiding. And she didn't tell him until it was too late, but they are going to have to team up. Dante and Lulu will eventually come to an agreement because they have to find their son. Ross Cullum is out there looking for Rocco too. It's a race against time. And honestly, somewhere inside all the panic and the guilt, they may eventually land on some kind of custody arrangement where Lulu spends 1 week on the run with her son while Dante gets the next. Okay, that was a joke, but you get what I mean. The custody situation is a mess. They are going to have to put all their baggage aside and just focus on finding Rocco before Britt's condition gets worse or before Cullum finds them. And can we just pause and think about Britt for a second? Britt is out there driving knowing she is dying. She made Rocco promise to call his parents when she dies. That is so dark. That is so incredibly dark and tragic. I can't even handle it. And Elizabeth, poor Elizabeth, getting shoved into a closet just for trying to do the right thing. The hospital security is a joke. Cyrus Renaud took the cameras out years ago and they never put them back. People are just getting locked in closets and assaulted in their rooms. Jordan is screaming at mystery visitors. It's a madhouse. Let's circle back to Carly and Lucas for a second because I feel like I didn't even scratch the surface of how messed up that situation is. Carly is currently dealing with her own absolute nightmare. Jocelyn just went and told Jack Brennan that Carly is sleeping with Valentine Cassadine. So Carly's secret attic dweller romance is blown wide open. Brennan is probably plotting his revenge right this second. And in the middle of all that stress, Carly has to stand in her kitchen and be the strong sister for Lucas. Lucas, who is just completely shattered over Marco. It makes you wonder how long Carly can keep all these plates spinning before she just completely breaks down. She is trying to protect Lucas from Sidwell. She's trying to protect Valentine from Brennan. And she is probably going to end up in the crossfire of both. And I honestly don't know how she does it. Sometimes I think Carly just thrives on the chaos. Like if she doesn't have a crisis to manage, she doesn't know what to do with herself. But the Sidwell guy, he is not a normal crisis. He's a lethal threat. If Lucas doesn't pack his bags and leave Windermere, he might be the next person taking a trip to the morgue. And Carly knows that. And speaking of lethal threats, let's talk a bit more about this Sonny and Laura alliance. Because historically, Sonny and Laura have a very complicated dynamic. But right now, they have a common enemy. Sidwell is destroying everything. He took Sonny's shipping routes, he killed Marco, he killed Dalton, he framed Laura. Sonny is looking at the board and realizing he needs to make a move. Rick Lansing is in his ear telling him to just eliminate Sidwell, just take him out. But Sonny is trying to be strategic. He wants Pascal. But what if Pascal doesn't break? What if Pascal goes straight to Sidwell and tells him that Sonny and the mayor are plotting against him? That would just put a massive target on Laura's back. And Laura is already dealing with so much. She just had to sit on a park bench and grill Lulu about running away, and then she agreed to take in Charlotte Cassadine. Laura is basically running a halfway house for traumatized Port Charles residents at this point. She has Ezra Boyle on her couch, Charlotte in her spare room, and she's plotting mob takeovers in her free time. It is wild. It is absolutely wild. And then there is the whole Ethan factor. Ethan is back in town. He wants a job in the mob. He is flirting with Christina, and he is terrified of Ava's investigation. Ethan is a wild card right now. He hates Sidwell because of what Sidwell did to Holly, but Sonny told Ethan to hold back. Sonny wants to wait for the right time, but Ethan is impatient. He is itching to eliminate the problem. If Ethan finds out that Sonny is trying to flip Pascal instead of just taking Sidwell out, Ethan might go rogue. And if Ethan goes rogue, he could ruin everything. Plus, Rick Lansing doesn't trust Ethan at all. Rick thinks Ethan is a spy. So there is this whole internal power struggle happening in Sonny's camp while they are supposed to be focusing on Sidwell. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And I can't stop thinking about this Kyoko artist in Manhattan. Delilah Wilson was Ethan's partner in crime. She had this weird tattoo. Now Alexis and Ava are going to New York to find the artist who knows about the tattoo. What if this Kyoko person is tied to the WSB, or the Cassadines, or some other crazy secret society? Because in this town, a tattoo is never just a tattoo. It's a map to a treasure, or a code for a bank account, or a symbol of a deadly cult. I am betting right now that this Manhattan trip is going to end with Ava and Alexis running for their lives from some goons in a fancy art gallery. And I am going to eat it up. I love when the show takes us out of Port Charles for a little adventure. It breaks up the gloom of Windermere and the hospital.